Okay, now we're ready to do our exterior. We're gonna work on our window and the scene you see outside the window. So before I get an image, I want to take a moment to think about my concept and the colors that I'm using. I want the outside to complement the inside. So I wanted something that's very urban and industrial looking because that's what I'm kind of going for with my colors and materials and choices on the inside. And I'm going with reds and browns and grays are the colors that I have so far. So if I could find something that's going to complement that, it would look great. So one of the really exciting things about Photoshop is that you could use a photograph of what your client actually sees from their space for something like a school project or a spec house or something like that. Maybe you're across the world or across the country from your client. You know, maybe you'll do something where you just find an image on the internet, which is of course what we're going to do here. So I want to take a moment to say that I searched for cityscapes and I got quite a few file types that Photoshop won't open. I'll show you what I mean. I go to File, Open, and you can see I found all these really beautiful cityscapes that I wanted to use. And I click on it and I hit Open and it says, could not complete your request because it's not the right kind of document. So unfortunately, a lot of these photos were not in a JPEG format, and sometimes it's hard to tell until you go and try and open them. So I recommend you grab a bunch of options so that when you get into Photoshop, you can try them and hopefully one will open. And here's our one that's a JPEG, this lovely view of Pittsburgh. So I just went to File, Open, and you'll see I have my cityscape is now a separate file from my elevation. So what I'm going to do is I want to look at both of them at once. So I'm going to take my mouse, I'm going to click and drag on the title. I'm just going to click and drag. Look at that, I can see them both at once. Now I'm going to go to my very top tool. This is called the Move tool. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on my cityscape and I'm going to hold down the button on my mouse. I'm going to click and drag into my photo, into my elevation, like that. And then I let go. And yes, it's the wrong size, but no problem. I'm just gonna X out of my other file because I don't need it anymore. So one of the cool things is this guy comes in already on its own layer, which is exciting. I'm just gonna rename it Exterior because of course we always want to, you know, name our layers so that we know what the heck is going on, right? So I can use my Move tool as long as I'm on that layer. I can move it around. So I'm going to put it up here. And then I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. Hold down your Shift key when you do this in order to, I'm sorry, it's not Shift, it's Control. Hold down your Control key so that it constrains the proportions, because if you don't hold down the control, it can mess it up. So there we go. I'm going to make it so that it's a good size, so that it's I want it to cover all of these panes of glass, because the next thing is going to be getting rid of those. So that looks good. I can always go back later and change those if I want to. So then I'm just going to hit Enter, and you'll see that while you're moving it, sometimes this gets really pixelated and crappy looking, but that's just while you're moving it. Once you hit Enter, it should snap back into focus for you. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this at the very bottom of our layer stack. So I'm gonna pull it down. So that's what I want to do. I hit Control Z. Let me grab my drawing layer and pull it up. And now our exterior has disappeared. It didn't really disappear, it's just at the bottom. Drawing is covering exterior. Make sure you're on your drawing layer. And by the way, if your drawing layer won't move, if you can't move it up to the top, it may be locked. So just make sure that you double click and rename it. You may see a little padlock over here and that will go away. You can also just click on the padlock to unlock it. Okay, magic wand tool, make sure you're on your drawing layer, click a pane of glass and hit delete on your keyboard. Fun little reveal. There we go, look at that. I'm going to do Control D to deselect. I have a beautiful image. So now I'm going to go back to exterior, just click on exterior and use my move tool. I can move this around a little bit and get it exactly how I want it. I can also make it bigger and smaller. Same thing we just did before, edit, transform, scale. So if I wanted it bigger or smaller, I could do that too. I think that kind of works. And again, I really like that it's got the same colors as my interior. I think it's a really nice complement. Okay, so now we have our exterior scene. It's starting to look exciting. What I want to do next is add some glass. So for this, I'm going to start a new layer. So right now I'm on the exterior layer. I actually want this above my drawing layer. So I click on drawing and I hit create new layer. And I'm going to rename my new layer glass. And we're actually going to do the exact same thing that we did in our floor plan when we were looking down on our glass. We're going to do the same thing. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a blue color. We're going to pick a light blue and a dark blue. How about that? Actually, you know what? We don't need a dark blue. Let's just do one color. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my drawing layer. I'm going to use my magic wand tool and I'm going to click, hold down shift. I'm going to choose each one of the panes of glass and I have to do the choosing on the drawing layer. And then I go to the glass layer to fill it. I'm going to use my paint bucket. I'm going to change from pattern to foreground. And it's going to turn blue and it's going to get rid of our beautiful photo that we just put in. But of course, we're going to mess around with the opacity in a minute and make it go away. Okay. Now let's make white our foreground color by just clicking on our color picker and click on white. I am going to go over to my brush tool right here and I want to do 3 streaks for reflections just like before. 3 is our magic number, and if you remember, we can make our brush bigger or smaller by hitting the brackets on the keyboard next to the letter P. I'm just going to do some diagonal lines. Oh, that looks terrible. There we go, that's a little better. Let's do like a really big one. Like that also looks terrible. There we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Once you get 3 that you like, and again, you just do Control Z when you do something you don't like and it goes away. Now let's change our opacity way down. What do you think, 35? We can always go back and change this later. I think 35 looks good. Okay, and then we do Control D to deselect, and there you go. We have a beautiful scene outside. We have glass in front of it, which it makes it really obvious that what we're looking at is exterior view and not like a painting on the wall. What's going to make that even more obvious is going to be once we add our drop shadows from the window frame onto the glass, it's going to look even more awesome. So I think that's it for now. And then I'll meet you in the next video. We're going to add some more detail.